One day me been a bamboo down, and me see Tyra lay down there, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she penny good wine like a boxing gold. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day.
Sunday morning I was passing, and me see Tyra lay down there, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she penny good wine like a boxing gold. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. Shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, oh.
One day me been a wakana, and me see Tyra pon the down, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she petticoat wine like a boxing board. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day.
One day me been a wakana, and me see Tyra on the down, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she very good by like a boxing gold. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day.
See Tyra
more man day,
oh see Tyra
more man day.
See Tyra
more man. Shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, oh.
One day me been a bamboo down, and me see Tyra lay down there, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she penny good wine like a boxing gold. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day.
Sunday morning I was passing, and me see Tyra lay down there, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she penny good wine like a boxing gold. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. See Tyra more man day, oh see Tyra more man day. Shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, oh.
One day me been a wakana, and me see Tyra pon the down, and me ask see Tyra what she do there.
Hello, this is Attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Kellyan Mall, 162 Lamaha Street, in Georgetown between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm.
Good evening. It's 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. My name is Mark Benchap. We're going to rock and roll for just about an hour. Just about an hour, we're going to do that. As you know, we have a new time. It's 8 o'clock we start, Eastern Standard Time. And just in case you're wondering, what is Eastern Standard Time? I know most of you guys didn't attend the University of IFLOT. So I know you understand what Eastern Standard Time is, New York, Connecticut, Florida, and the eastern parts of the United States of America. It's Eastern Standard Time. So it is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock EST, Eastern Standard Time. It doesn't mean it's sufficient timely. Eastern Standard Time. In Guyana, it's 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Good evening to all of you. Lily, look, I've got to say thank you guys so much for oftentimes helping us. Lemon is all dapper, set, ready to go in the studio. We're going to rock and roll this evening for 1 hour. We want to touch on some things that Anil Nandlall has said concerning the African folks, or if you want to call them that, in the PPP. And he's trying to give examples and trying to say to people, look, those guys are part of the PPP. They have big positions, but I want to talk about those guys and their positions. I want to talk about lots of other things too. So do share the link. Thank you so much, Lily. Do share the link and let's get ready to rock and roll on Straight Up 107.1 FM. Now, I'm not certain why Lemon put this up on the page. I am not certain at all. I don't know. I'm just not certain at all. Let's get right off the cuff, man. We got to talk about some issues, like I've said. Here what's going. Here what's coming on. But before I do, let me say good evening to all of you. Thank you so much. This is a Big People show. We deal with issues. We get straight to the point. So do call your friends, your Big People friend, your middle-aged friends, like Shrimpy, DJ Shrimpy, Savitri Rose, Leslie Charles, all the middle-aged people. Get them onto the program. Get the older folks like Garfield Collins and J.R. Crawford and those older guys. Call up people and let them know that we are on. Good evening to all of you. It's really nice to see you here on 107.1 FM. Let's get straight down to business. Some of you might be asking, wondering, well, what is this? What is that? Who is being beaten by with that machine gun? We haven't heard anything about anybody being arrested and charged or whatever. But this is the Wild West. This is the Guyana. This is the Guyana folks like Anil Nandlall and others want us to accept. We must sit back and we must say that all is hunky-dory in Guyana. And whenever we do speak out, it's like their bumps raised, and then they quickly raise the flag up, mind you, sorry, and they jump out and they start off with a race card. And those guys in Brooklyn, I don't know what they have against people in Brooklyn. I just don't know what they have against people in Brooklyn. And you gotta be careful when these guys speak and they say those people in Brooklyn. In other words, what Anil and them are saying is those black people, those, and so they just kind of like put aside the black people because he doesn't want to say it. But he said those people in Brooklyn, right? Those black people in Brooklyn. That's how it is. We've got to be straightforward about it. I don't know. Hear what's happening. Let's get straight to this guy. Thank you so much, Aaliyah Waldron, for sharing the stuff. Keith Chase is saying, the man sicking for real. I never look upon a leader because I just look for my own. But the man this draw my attention. What is it about money and the man this? How much is enough? Keep chase. The man this and well, you got to be careful because they get some of them in the street saying that, you know what, they got to eat a food. They got to eat a lot of things, but he's saying they got to eat a food. Right, Keith? So I get Keith Chase. I get where you're coming from. That's the hustlers. That's why we call them flat-foot hustlers. But look at this businessman being beaten by this thug, this big belly. Looks as though is behind his way over his shoulder, his pants. Look at this thug. He's nothing but a pig. Look at this thug beating up another man, all because the guy went for his money, beating up another man on behalf of an unscrupulous businessman that is connected to the PPP. Look, if these guys are jumbo jet, if they're watching, shame on you guys. These are the guys that hold horse racing events and all manner of things and love to package themselves as legitimate, nice, honest businessmen. And this is what they do. This is what they encourage. And nobody's speaking out. What about the lawyers who were protesting the other day? Are they going to come out? Look, I'm not picking on those lawyers who protested the other day because one of their own got detained for a couple of minutes. Who feels it knows. But I never accept those sort of behavior by the police. It was wrong. And I've noticed that lawyer has since sued Soku. Congrats to her. But I want to see that lawyer and other lawyers speaking out about these things as well. Speak out about injustices. Speak out about these atrocities. Speak out, lawyers. Speak out. Don't just speak out when it comes knocking at your door. Then all of you guys rush out. Oh, this is injustice. And you come after one of us. You come after all of us. That should be about this too. Look at that guy being badly beaten. Is anybody going to stand up and represent him pro bono? I don't know. Look. We have somebody all the way, China, Rwanda. It's 10 minutes after 2 o'clock in France. Parlez-vous français? Ça passe? Ça va bien, right? Let me relax, right? China or Chin Rwanda. Nice of you to listen. All the way in France. We got lots of people in France. We got people in Blackbush, Poland, people in Linden, people in England. Hey, mate. People all over. All over. Savitri Rose is asking, where is this happening though? Where is what happening, Savitri Rose? This is in Guyana. Beautiful Guyana. That is what's happening in Guyana. And nobody's going to come out and condemn it. We do it on social media. We do it. But when we confront these situations, when we expose these situations, all manner of names they call us. But look, it's like throwing water on ducks back, right? We don't give a damn what they call us. We don't give a damn what they describe us. Some of them say we live in a matchbox. Some of them say we live in a car trunk. Some of them say we live in a basement. Mind you, the first set of people who started living in a car, in the back of the car, I know them. The first set of people who had a pillow and a blanket in a car trunk or in the back of a dollar van. We know them. And basement. Anyway, let's not even go the basement route, right? So those things are, things that inconsequential. That's it. Now, let's get this thug beating up that innocent man. Get that criminal because he's a criminal. That's what he is. Oh, gosh, elections, right? I hope you guys went out and vote. Sorry about that. I'll tell you guys, the midterm elections, kind of tight, kind of rough. We're looking at what's happening here, and that's what happens when you fall asleep at the wheel, right? We know what happened when you fall asleep in the wheel. It happened in Guyana. You fall asleep at the wheels. You take too much for granted and these sort of things. We're watching the results, but I know a couple of my friends are going to win. They're going to head back in the Congress and Senate, which is a good thing. But the race is tight. The gubernatorial race in New York City is New York is very tight as well. Reminds me of when George Pataki ran over 20 something years ago. Since then, there hasn't been a Republican governor. But this time, it is tight. How tight? Very tight. Keep your fingers crossed. Keep watching the results as you share the link. And look, let's get straight down to business here tonight. We're not going to talk about this here. I promise you guys to let you know who Claudette Singh referred to as the businessman, quote unquote, businessman who wanted her back then dead. DEAD, dead. But this is just a little thing. She just basically said the boy got the virus and was treated. And the boy, of course, referring to Bharat Jagdeo. That's what she meant. The boy, Bharat Jagdeo. All right. What do we want to talk about? Last night we spoke about Jonathan Hearwood. Jonathan Hearwood. That's the guy who testified yesterday at the so-called that fake commission of inquiry. Fake, it's fake. That's what it is. And no matter what those guys who are heading the COI there say, it is fake. I noticed one of them said that if someone says something about somebody and you want to come and defend your name, you can come. Who the hell needs to go to COI, that COI, to defend their names? Who needs to go there? Give me a break. But let's get back to Hearwood. Let's get back to Hearwood. I noticed somebody mentioned Schumann. Schumann is a soup drinker. Why are you guys even mentioning that guy? That guy is of no political value, probably no value. Don't mention him. The next time you guys mention him, guess what you're going to get? Look, furthermore, let's give Schumann the award right away. Well, you wanted us to mention Schumann? You heard it. He had something to say on the show. You can't say we discriminate against people. We don't. We absolutely don't. We love everyone. We don't discriminate. If they want to have a voice, we allow them to have a voice in the form of, you see what there just now. So what are we going to talk about Schumann? Who is Schumann? What benefit that, who is it? Siobhan, with all due respect, what benefit does that bring to us to talk about that thing? Before talking about him, I rather talk about I rather talk about somebody else. Someone else. Who? Come on, give me a break. Let's move on. All right. Hey, here's what I want to say. I want to talk about Anil Nandlall this evening. I want us to gaff a little bit about Anil. And if those folks in the international arena, if they're watching, don't be fooled when people sit down and they talk and they try to paint a picture as though everything is hunky-dory in Guyana. Don't be fooled, guys. Don't be fooled. This is a program where we present the evidence, where we present the other side of the coin to expose the hypocrites. And we will be doing that just about a minute. Let's get back to Jonathan Hearwood. I don't know. Okay, so last evening we heard and we did report what he said at the Commission of Inquiry, that farce of a Commission of Inquiry about the PNCR scrutineer. And this is what the PNCR has to do. They have to issue statement about these things to counter the rhetoric, to counter the lies and the propaganda. Every single day, they got to issue a release to counter the wickedness, the lies, and the vindictiveness coming out of the Commission of Inquiry. So far, you guys see where this is heading, right? So we can't be wrong. We can't be lying, because thus far, they got a chief elections officer who was there at the commission, and he said that there's no video evidence as to what happened on elections day when the PPP goons and drug lords and money launderers and gunmen stormed GCOM. That is what they did. But they don't want to show you that evidence. So they went to the Commission of Inquiry and they said, guess what? we can't find the video recordings. Obviously, they can't find it because they don't want to air it. But because if they air it, you know what's going to happen? You guys know exactly what's going to happen if they air it. So they don't want to air it for you to hear it. They're not going to do that. But we will hear it. We will air it so you could hear it, right? But let's get back to Jonathan Harewood. Jonathan Harewood spoke about, and this is what it has reduced to, the Commission of Inquiry. He said, she said. So the person that he spoke about yesterday, like I've said, they got this love-hate relationship. If Jonathan Harewood loved Carol Smith Joseph, he should pick up the phone, call her, and just be man enough. Then again, that might be difficult, right? But a lot of those guys call her and say, look, I have a crush on you. Don't just go about the place getting vexed because the woman apparently not paying you attention. So at the Commission of Inquiry, he abused out Carol Smith Joseph. He abused she out. He cussed she out because that's all they could do. They can't present any evidence, but they're going to go there and say who cussed who and who cussed the foreign diplomats and who cussed foreign observers and all manner of things, right? Who cussed who. That is what it boils down to. Who cussed who. But we're not cursing anybody tonight. Jonathan Harewood is not going to tell you guys, he's not going to tell the Commission of Inquiry what really transpired on the day he alleged that Carol Smith Joseph threatened to spit in Kit Nascimento's face, threatened to stomp some liar named Chase, and these manner of things, threatened to stomp on him. He's not going to tell you guys what he did. You want me to show you guys what he did that possibly led to what he was talking about? But this is what he hid from you guys. This is what he did. Not allegedly. Look at the evidence.
Sir. You shut up! You want to be
That guy in the pumpkin shirt, the orange shirt. Let me check some of your comments. Have you seen what that guy did? Now, he was right there. He should have been shoved out of that building. He should have been arrested. He walked up cursing Mingo and Lowenfield. I'm not sure who else at the table. Cursing them and all manner of things. Cursing them. Who is this guy? But he's not going to tell the Commission of Inquiry what he did. He's not going to do that. He's not going to say that. So he's going to go there and poor Carol Joseph. Well, Carol could defend herself. Poor Carol Joseph got the blows yesterday at the Commission of Inquiry. The man lied and the man lied and the man said the woman cussed and the woman threatened to spit in Kit Nascimento's face. Well, now we don't promote those things on Bench Up Radio, but probably get a camera and take a photograph to see what that would look like. But we don't do these sort of things, right? It's the PPP who do all manner of things. They throw filth in people's face, like Freddie Kissoon, what they've done to him, and scores of other things that they've done. Now take another look at what Jonathan Harewood, he has on a pumpkin shirt. And if you haven't shared the link, you should be sharing the link, because I know we're on an earlier time. It doesn't mean that you can't share the link, right? It doesn't mean that. Now, let's get back to Jonathan Harewood. And Jonathan Harewood, if you're watching, stop being a hypocrite. And I hope the commissioners, those who are part of that farce of a Commission of Inquiry, that they're watching so that they get to see the real side and get to see these kinds of people when they go to testify, right? They're dangerous people. They're hypocrites. And then they pretend as though they're angels. And though they put on their wings and, oh, we are hurt. We are victims. We are victims of those people in the opposition, those people in APNU, AMC. They're bad people. We are the victims. Liar, liar, liar. Let's go back to that guy in the pumpkin shirt. You saw what he did to Carol Smith Joseph, right? You saw, look, you saw that, right? Let's go. Right back to it.
Sir. You shut up! You want to be
guys saw that, right? Let me go back to the column so that to know that you guys saw that. That's the evidence. So y'all got to be careful with the propaganda that's being spread right there at the Commission of Inquiry. Lots of things. And when he done do, he push, and he push, and all these things. You saw the police try to restrain, and they were restraining her and not him. He was the aggressor. He was the violent one. They didn't do that. Somebody's asking that it be shown again. Let me see here. Let me see what Ulumbu, how are you? Ulumbu is asking, Mark, can you call into the Commission of Inquiry to testify? Testify about what? The Commission of Inquiry is a farce. And I've been saying this from day one. It is a farce. Testify about what? To give them legitimacy? Let Claudette go and testify. I want to see Claudette testify. I want to, Claudette sing that is. I want to. So Ulumbu, innocent, that's a farce, man. This is our Commission of Inquiry, my friend. This here is our Commission of Inquiry. Somebody else, Isabel Butters, it seems as though you're now joining us. You want to see what Jonathan Yearwood did to Carol Joseph? But they're not going to report it. They're not going to talk about it. This is what he did. Not allegedly. It's on video. I know these guys love to say, oh, video. Oh, that wasn't me. They love to pull a Claudette or who's it, a Shaggy. It wasn't me. I saw you banging on the table. It wasn't me. I saw you banging in the backyard. It wasn't me. Well, who it was? Is Jonathan going to say it wasn't him? Let's head back to that particular situation here. Let's go.
Sir. You shut up! You want to be
You notice that Jonathan got his purse by his side and he pushing and he tugging the woman. And this is a guy who said all manner of things about Carol. Y'all are seeing the evidence. Y'all understand what this PPP is all about, you know. They don't speak the truth. They go and they fabricate things. All manner of things they fabricate. Lots of them fabricate things. They've been fabricating things for years. Some of them, how much they punish on the Bornham. Oh, Bornham, proper punish Abby by. Bornham, punish Abby. Oh, really? How old are you? I just turned 23. How long ago Bornham died? Me not know, but he punish Abby. How? Give an example. When me been in my mama belly, he punish all manner of nonsense with these people. All manner of nonsense. And look what happened now. After he did what he did, right? After he did what he did, the man decided now to go and cool out himself. Gonna probably take a shot. All right, we're not there yet. The man gone and take a shot. You got to take another look at that. Look, he gone now. He gone, and look. So after he did what, and we're going to move away from this shortly though, but look, Jonathan Yearwood, shame on you, man. Gone in front of the Commission of Inquiry. He probably had the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is, the Quran, you know, and he swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But they lie and they lie and they lie. They hide the truth. That is why we're here to show you the truth.
Sir. You shut up! You want to be
So you guys saw for yourselves, right? You saw. This is not propaganda. It is not propaganda, guys, right? It is not propaganda at all. Good. Sorry about that. Not propaganda at all. Good evening to all of you. If you're now joining us, my name is Mark Benchap. We are rocking and rolling. We still haven't yet gotten to Anil. I want to break something down and let you guys see exactly what happens with these guys in the PPP. They're not to be trusted. Not to be trusted. But then again, when we talk about political violence and all these things, we're gonna get some stuff to show you guys. And then they turn in the direction of the coalition supporters and call the protesters, they're violent, them are thugs, them are this, them are that. Oh, my mama, if you didn't know better. And this is for people who are non-Guyanese who are watching. Hi, Ruth. I hope you're watching this evening. Ruth is non-Guyanese. She, what is Ruth? Ruth is about 70-something or 60-something, young. All the way in Manhattan, I believe. And Ruth watches this show. She says, I learn a lot from your show, Oh, my gosh. And this is a lady who has never visited Guyana, but she watches the show and she hates Jack Dio because we show the other side of the coin. Good evening to you, Ruth. Hope all is well. All right. Now, let's show them what really transpired. You want to see violence? You want to see protest? You want to see what they do to cops? I don't see the coalition supporters treat policemen or citizens like this. It's the PPP. And I'm not just talking because it's propaganda nature. It is a fact. Here you go. For people like Ruth, who have never visited Guyana. Here you go, Ruth.
What? Aqui reverse. Reverse.
What's the man do to police, boy?
Turn back, I kill him for them. Turn back. Pass the cutlass. Turn back. Turn back, you go behind these boys. You go behind these boys.
Elections violence. That is what it is. Elections violence. Compliments of the PPP regime. And these are people, when they want to talk to people overseas, they're the only ones who can talk. They're the only ones who can just cozy up to politicians in the US and other parts of the world. And when other people do it, they get vexed, they start to tremble, and they say that it's propaganda. They're the only ones who believe that they can speak the truth. Look, we are going to continue to expose them. We are going to continue to talk to politicians, whether in the US, whether in other places, and to hell with the PPP. Just the other day, I heard Anil Nandlall say that we try to reach out and to have a meeting with some of these politicians who are being lied to, quote unquote, and they don't want to meet with you guys, Anil. Meet with the members of the officials of the Department of Justice and other law enforcement agencies who have submitted a list of some individuals who they want extradited to the US, some money launderers, some gold smugglers, some drug lords, and so forth. Talk to them. Don't worry to talk about politicians to paint a picture that they already know what is happening in Guyana, the racism, the discrimination, and all these manner of things. Give us a break. Let's get back to bad settlement area. PPP stronghold. They claim they are fighting for democracy, burning up buses, beating up people, beating up cops, shooting up, all manner of things. You don't see that at opposition, now APNU, AFC press protest, you don't see that. Take a look.
Good, now you can see the real standoff. It's just part of the action, part of the real action. Part of the real action, man. This is not the... What? This camera good? No, yeah,
So you guys seeing what's happening there, right? And you ain't seen nothing yet. Good. You saw all of that, right? You ain't seen nothing yet. That's how they behave. Insanity galore. That is what they're about. Political violence. Damage up the roads, burn up this, beat up people, beat up kids, burn up political vehicles, and all manner of things. But yet when these guys sit and talk, they want to talk as though they're goddamn angels. Are you kidding me? And they want to bluff their way and threaten people that others, people like myself and a Burke and a Duncan and a Kadaki and others who speak out. Others who speak out to make it appear as though, oh, we are lying and we are this and we are the no. Well, those things they can't bring those sort of things for me at all. They can't bring these sort of things for me at all. Eric Cumberbatch, everybody should look at it. Not just David Granger. Everyone should look at it. Claudette Singh, Bharat Jagdev, everyone. And those who sit down quietly and just probably want a few of us to build a cat, should look at it too. Everybody should be looking at this here. Everyone. Shame and disgrace. Now, hear what? I want to talk about Anil Nandlall now. Specifically about what he said. I'll play a tape and then I'll dig into it. I'll play a tape first. Then I'll dig in to what he had to say. All right? Alison Richards says, show the small children in the minibus that they firebombed a minibus. 2020. This wasn't 1960 or 1920. 2020. 2020. Of course we remember you, Rhonda Lane. Of course we remember you. All those lawyers who went out to protest the other day, they should go out and protest for you too. Because an injustice happened against you. You have to pay 500,000 Guyana dollars for some cybercrime dotishness that was never proven in court. The prosecutor said that your phone was open, there was no password, there was nothing, but yet the dotish magistrate actually found you guilty and you got to pay $500,000 fine. I'm not sure if any lawyer in the opposition has taken up your case pro bono. I don't know what's happening, but you are a woman that you're out there. Whenever there's a protest, you put your money where your mouth is. Is that what you say? You put your mouth where your money is or whatever. You're out there. You're brave. You don't just talk. And then when you call a protest, people hardly show up. They run and they duck for cover. They run and they hide. Of course, those who are overseas can be at every protest, but they can have protests over the U.S. as well. They can have that. But let's move away from that. Yeah, we remember you, Rhonda. We remember you. But we want to go to... we'll take a quick break and then we'll go to Anil Nandlall. All right? Anil Nandlall when we return.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Racism and the disrespect that they have for the people of Guyana, including Afro-Guyanese. It is unbelievable. And I hope that Afro-Guyanese, I hope that Indo-Guyanese, I hope that Portuguese Guyanese, I hope that Chinese Guyanese, I hope that Douglas Guyanese and Amerindian Guyanese are listening to these people and are listening to the disrespect that these people view them with.
When he said these people, you know exactly what he means, right? These people. All right, let's break this thing down for Anil. The disrespect to the Guyanese people. I just showed you guys some evidence there, right?
Good. Now we can see the real standoff. It's just part of the action. Part of the real action.
PPP stronghold, disrespect.
What? Okay, reverse.
PPP stronghold, disrespect.
Sir, you shut up! You want to be
Barajagdi is standing with some gunmen. One of them was this guy, Mark Kazurki. He wants to talk about the disrespect. Look at what happened at GCOM's building when they stormed it. Gunmen, drug lords, money launderers, elections thieves, you name it, stormed it, pretending that they're fighting for democracy. Talk about these things. Talk about these things, Anil. These are the things we want you to focus on. 47 boxes without statutory documents. Focus on these things here, Anil. Focus on these things. And we know what happened, what transpired on the East Coast, the lower East Coast of Demerara on elections day. Focus on those sort of things. Don't pretend as though you guys are angels. Talk about the fire at the police stations, that today we can't even hear anything what has happened. There is no fire report. There's nothing. Talk about these things, Anil. Talk about the persecution of individuals. These folks who are being persecuted, no evidence against them. Talk about Trevor Benn, who is being persecuted. Talk about others who are being persecuted. Talk about those things. And then when you're done, talk about allegations leveled against Bara Jagdeo. Corruption, allegations of corruption by Mr. Sue. And we saw the report on the Vice News, compliments of Isabel. Talk about those things, Anil. Talk about Dion Bascom and his situation. This detective actually revealed that there was corruption as it pertains to the murder of Paper Shards. No arrest, no questioning, no nothing. Why? Is it because these guys are connected to the PPP? Talk about these things, Anil Nandlall. That is what people want to hear. Don't come with propaganda. Talk about what the DPP has done, interfering in cases, all because her family friend, the Mohammeds, are involved in allegations, mind you. Allegations. That is what this is about. Talk about the fact that the police claim that they don't even have a tape of their press conference, even though we're seeing that, look, it was recorded. Talk about these things. Talk about this gunman belong to Jumbo Jet beating up a businessman. Talk about these things. Talk about these sort of injustices and brutality. Why? You're not going to talk about it because it involves PPP guys? You guys are not going to talk about that? What about this lunatic? Talk about these things, Anil. Talk about these things. Talk about these things. The invasion of GCOM. Look at some of the suspects there. Look at some of them. Those who know. Take a look at some of them who were there in that photograph. Take a good look at some of them. Take a good look at them. Anyways, right? You guys know where we're heading with this. But let's continue to hear. He's talking about, everybody's not living together under the PPP regime. But we want to continue. I want you guys to continue to hear him for another minute.
Imagine we have a cabinet comprising of Mark Phillips as Prime Minister, a man who spent his entire life in the army. He's the Prime Minister of this country.
All right, let's pause there for a moment. Let's pause there for a moment about Mark Phillips. He just said that this man spent his entire life in the army. But he's not going to tell you guys that Mark Phillips was elevated as a result of vindictiveness and corruption in the army by the PPP, that they removed about 5-6 senior Mark Phillips have never been chief of staff of the Guyana Defense Force if he did not the AI system and moved 4 or 5 top brass of the Guyana Defense Force. And so Mark Phillips became chief of staff by default. Not that he was qualified or any sort of seniority. So let's just remind them about that, right? So don't tell us that Mark Phillips is prime minister. Mark Phillips is prime minister. And therefore, persons of African descent got to stand up and clap and be happy that Mark Phillips is prime minister. What has Mark Phillips done for even Region 10? Who does Mark Phillips represent? Who really does he represent? Mark Phillips is just happy that he is lucky sitting there as prime minister under questionable circumstances. So don't give us no Rambo story, please. Save that for some other place. Save the other people who don't know better. But don't come to us with that Jim Cockney Rambo story. Let's continue.
Robeson Ben, a man who is the Home Affairs Minister.
Did he actually say Robeson Ben? Robeson Ben that broke up innocent and hardworking vendor stalls and all manner of things? Robeson Ben after a of all persons? And you expect persons of African descent must be proud of a Robeson Ben? You couldn't be serious, Anil. But let's hear. Let him continue.
Utah Foreign Affairs Minister.
Wait a minute. Utah. Now, we're breaking it down for him. Utah. Sorry about that. This is a guy who came out, Utah, and he said that Guyana will recognize Taiwan. Hours later, he had to retract that statement. I think Jack Deere did as well. And Jack Deere said no one was authorized. In other words, Jack Deere threw him under the bus, disrespected him, and basically told all of Guyana that this guy is basically a puppet. So we must embrace these guys. And we must be proud. We must be happy that they are there. And we all know that they are window dressings. They have no power. Absolutely no power. None whatsoever. You think Utah can make an appointment on his own? You think Utah can recommend the withdrawal of a Charandas or any other ambassador? You think he can appoint anybody on his own? No, he cannot. He doesn't have that power. Sorry I say it like that, but he doesn't have that power. He doesn't have that power. It sounds as though I'm saying poor, but I'm not saying poor. I'm saying he doesn't have that power. They have no constituency. They have no support base. They do not represent African Guyanese. They just do not. These guys are just in it for a little dollar, sit down in it, make their little money. They're in a little position, and they're asked to embrace these guys. Embrace them, and because we refuse to embrace them, he vexed, and he's sitting there lecturing us. He'll lecture Abby. Anil? I'm not done yet with Anil. Let's continue. Let's hear him.
One Agile. Public Works Infrastructure.
Shut up. Give us a break, Anil. Come on, be quiet. Be quiet. One Agile? Who claims that he's a bishop, who treats people like hogs, like dogs, talk to people like they're wild animals? One Agile? He couldn't be serious when he mentioned the name One Agile. Our operator probably doesn't have One Angel's photo. Thank God. We don't want to scare you guys. But we got to give One Angel, we got to give these guys that he's mentioning an award, please. I can't believe, and look, Anil is saying it with a straight face. All of the names that he has mentioned, none of them have a constituency. None of them got a base. None of them represent specifically the African community. None of them people have respect for. Not a single one of them. And it ain't done yet, you know. It ain't done yet. Do you guys remember not so long ago, they had this community event maybe out on the east coast of Demerara, and One Edgel was there. And was it Barajagdeo who actually paused for a moment and told One Edgel to shut up and sit down? Shut up and sit down? You think Barajagdeo would have done something like that to Anil or anyone other than the likes of a One Edgel and them? Shut up and sit down, be quiet. That's how they treat them. And that and Anil barefaced enough to sit down and talk. Oh, look who we have. Those guys, Anil, Nandlall, are powerless. They have no power, they have no say, they're just there as window dressing. When they go out, it's just basically we take a couple of pictures and for sure that, hey, bye, look what we have here. But what y'all have there, powerless. Powerless. Anyways, let's continue. Y'all want to hear? Let me see if you guys want to hear more of this thing here, man. Or we should find something else. Michael Reed, you're right. You're right. What should we do? Brenda, you guys are hitting home. You guys know what's happening. You guys know what's happening, right? What should we do now? What should we? Should we continue to listen to him? You guys want to hear more so that I can counter him? All right. Let's hear it. We got it. They can't say we don't give them eartime on Bench Shop Radio, you know. We do.
Minister Onej Waldron, Minister of Business.
Minister of Business. What business? What business has she brought into Guyana? What business? This is a minister who had this big controversy about whether she relinquished her U.S. citizenship and the length of time that it was done. And then when she was caught with her pants down, she said, oh, I thought that after I submitted my application, that would have been it. And by virtue of me submitting my application, I thought it was over with and automatically her citizenship. It's a process, but there's still something questionable about that, you know. It's a process, and these are the people they want us to embrace. She's the Minister of Business. Do you see her dealing with business? Do you see anything of that nature? You don't. They're window dressing. That is what they're there for. You know, like Christmas time, you buy nice flower curtains. If you're from the quarantine, you know your curtains get some big hibiscus flower in it. Kind of thing, you paint up your house looking like God in heaven knows what. And then you get the hottest, pumpkin with flower on it and all kind. Man, our neighbors were something else, man. Our neighbors were something else. And don't talk about we blinds too, you know. Hot pumpkin with what flower on it. And don't talk about Crawford and them Piston. Everybody bear color, bear flower upon the curtain, right? That is what these individuals that this guy attacked about, as though they are representatives of the African Guyanese community. No, they're not. They have no power. They do nothing. They are weak. They're just basically there as puppets. That is who they are. That is what they're about. And just look, man, let's give all of them an award before we move on. All right, welcome back. That's what is it. Let's give him some more ear time because we got to be able to break it down for them. Continue, Anil. Go ahead.
Business, tourism, and commerce. Joseph Hamilton, Minister of Labor.
Joseph Hamilton, Minister of Labor. Well, forget about the fact that he used to sell plantain chips. He's former Rabbi Washington guy, and even when he was a Rabbi Washington guy selling plantain chips and so forth, the PPP used to cuss you out and said that he used to beat up protesters. That's the allegations and all. And then now he's Minister of Plantain Chips, man. Is Minister of Labor. What do? They go around the country blocking up credit unions and all manner of things they're doing. Eh? Anil can't be in his right mind. Anil got to probably smoke up about 30 grams of cannabis. It got to be, or he inhale it or something. It got to be. Because he rushed and he made this tape after, I don't know if cannabis probably still left on him after this whole meeting here.
Right? Here. So here. I got you out back. I just play the spoiler. I know a guy now. Seriously, somebody got to carry side.
Don't change the thing with you.
Because who's here?
You alright?
Right there with you. You don't know. Come towards the light. Let us see. I got all y'all under my heights. One look.
Hey, with these guys are a pack of jokers. I got y'all under my heights. Is as though demon possessed. You saw his expression. I got y'all under my heights. Something is wrong with these guys, man. All of them. But let's continue. Come on. Joseph Hamilton? Joseph Hamilton rushed out on television and said he's proud to be a house slave. And he's talking about the good slaves were the house slaves. Give me a goddamn break, Hamilton. Read up your book. Read up about your history. Right there in Guyana, go down to the bookstore and buy. There's a book called Themes of African Guyanese History. But then again, don't buy it. Don't buy it. A waste of time because you won't understand what's in it. You won't understand the history. So stop it. So let's move on. Let's hear what this thing got to say.
Kwame McCoy, Minister with responsibility within the office of the Prime Minister.
Wait a minute. Did this guy just say Kwame McCoy? Minister within the office of the Prime Minister? Kwame McCoy? Kwame McCoy is alleged to have interfered with little boy. There was this tape out there with Julius. The U.S. State Department revoked his visa. He probably get a little something now traveling on a diplomatic visa. And Kwame McCoy? You got to be kidding. Oh, holy smoke. Really? And you guys don't forget that he was actually convicted of damaging my vehicle, Convicted. Not alleged to, convicted. He was found guilty. Y'all remember the time when he chased me, right? And a bunch of them, you know what I mean? They tried to grab on me. You think I can stay and get scratched up? No. Me can stay and get scratched up. I run. And where is Mark? Come here. Long, nice looking people like me, you want to hold on to. You ain't going to hold on to me. You ain't going to hold on to me. No. Don't hold on to me. I run. And who want to laugh, let it laugh. I run. Me run for my life. But I don't want Kwame holding on to me. Right? I don't want Kwame holding on to me at all. Stop it. If you see how he's running behind me, all he wanted to do was if I would throw back a hand at him, and he wanted me to throw something back at him, not me. You think I can get scratched up and go see the doctor and all them? They all try to, but these are the kind of people that that Anil Nandlall is saying that, look, he's painting these people to the international community and saying, look who we have. We have African Guyanese. You know, we are not real, but look at these things. Look at them. He was arrested, questioned for, what was it? Throwing stuff in Freddie Kissoon's face. The other guy apparently was found guilty, top stepson, Jason Abdullah, found guilty. Spent a couple mornings in jail. He appealed the matter and he came out. I don't know what has happened to that appeal, right? So these are the people, these guys are, I don't know what is happening, man. What is happening? Should we allow, well, let me give Annie a little more ear time, please. Come on, let's give it.
All these people are in the cabinet of our government, holding some of the most powerful positions.
Puppets.
And according to these few in New York, these people here, these same brothers that I've mentioned, they have no value. According to them, they are house slaves. These people who are performing these powerful portfolio responsibilities within the state and government structure of Guyana are worthless in the eyes of those people.
True.
The Chancellor of the Judiciary, the Chief Justice of the country, the Registrar of the Supreme Court, the Chief Magistrate, Senior Magistrate, Principal Magistrate, Commissioner of Police, Head of the Army, Head of the Prison Service, Head of the Guyana Revenue Authority, the leading revenue collection.
All right, let's address that now. Let's address it. Come on, you want to be technical here now? First of all, Anil should be reminded that these appointments were made under the coalition. The PPP had nothing to do with this. And the PPP has refused to confirm these very people that they're trying to paint a picture as though all these things happen under them. The chief magistrate position was not as a result of the PPP. She didn't become chief magistrate 2 years ago. It was all under the coalition government, right? The GRA guy, every year, I believe, his contract has to be renewed. I'm not sure whether his contract has been renewed as yet, but you know why? The GRA guy is competent. There's nobody else to replace him at this point in time. And so don't try to give us that Jim Cock bring ram goat story. You talk about the Guyana Defense Force, when they manipulated the leadership of the Guyana Defense Force. But guess what? He's not going to tell you guys that when the current chief of staff of the Guyana Defense Force demits office by the end of this year or early next year, they put a controversial individual to become the chief of staff. We talk about Lindo Creek. We could talk about that. We could talk about allegations of connection to Phantom Squad and all these different things. We can talk about these sort of things. So don't try to paint that picture. Don't come with those sort of things, Anil. Don't come. And let us get back to these two, the acting chancellor of the judiciary, Justice Yonette Cummings, and acting chief justice of Roxanne George Wilshire. The PPP, Irfan Ali said that they are going to be nominated and removed as acting and become substantive. That is what they said. Then they changed their tune because they don't want these two persons there. They want to remove them. And I think that the chancellorship, they probably want to put Rishi Prasad because they believe that Rishi Prasad fought for them during the elections time and all those cases. They don't. So don't fall for their propaganda. Please don't. Let us continue. Please, let us continue. Let us continue. We give him some more airtime, man. Let me hear what else he got to say. Oh, but before we get to that, the prison service, all of the senior guys, them, just take a look at the majority of folks who want to become prison officers. So what are you talking about? What are you guys talking about? Nothing makes sense, Anil. Absolutely nothing.
Agency. And And I'm just mentioning a couple that comes to mind. 60% of the permanent secretaries within this government are all Afro-Guyanese.
And all of that was during the case of the coalition time. And permanent secretaries cannot be removed just like that. They cannot be removed just like that. Anil knows that. They cannot be removed just like that. Anil is not telling you guys the truth. He is just spreading propaganda. That is what this thing here is all about. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. But hear what now, Anil? Allow me to speak now to you. All right, let's start right off the top here. Courtney Crummy-Wing. Courtney Crummy-Wing. And, you know, foreign agents and foreign politicians and these people, it's not that they believe that Anil Nandlall is an angel. They know better. So it's not like when they sit other law enforcement officers sit and discuss things with him that they believe that he's an angel. No. But anyways, look at this here. Let's start with this here. Anil Nandlall, when he was Attorney General, this guy, Courtney Crummy-Wing, Army officer Courtney Crummy-Wing, protested. Why was Courtney Crummy-Wing protesting in front of Anil's office? Why? It stemmed from an audio recording done by Kaichur News, then Kaichur News reporter Gildari. The voice that is said to be Anil's voice, cussing out and threatening staff members to hurt staff members of the Kaichur News. And that is why Courtney Crummy-Wing was protesting in front of Anil's office. A few weeks after that, guess what? Just prior to the 2015 elections, Courtney Crummy-Wing was murdered, was assassinated. Courtney said he received threats from Kwame and some other individuals. He spoke about these things. He reported it to the police. Nothing has happened. But later on, he was murdered. Former bodyguard for Anil Nandlall arrested for Crummy-Wing's murder. Former bodyguard. And now some of you might be asking, oh, really? Former bodyguard. Former bodyguard. Okay. Here's a former bodyguard. His name is Rajput. Rajput Narain. The former bodyguard of Anil Nandlall. He was arrested and questioned. Look, it says here, former bodyguard for Anil Nandlall arrested. This is Stabrook News. Former bodyguard for Anil Nandlall arrested for Crummy-Wing's murder. Arrested. This is the guy. This is the guy who was always at Freedom House and so forth. Rajput Narain. And Rajput Narain has a brother that donated stuff to the police force and the training and computer and all manner, but we'll get to that some other time. But let's talk a little bit about Rajput Narain and his connection. And the fact that he was questioned concerning the death, the murder of Courtney Crummy-Wing. Anil Nandlall's driver. This is, okay, let's get to this here. This is back in 2015, March. You see here, I'm writing to confirm that Mr. Rajput Narain, scanning operator container, scanning operator container, right, at GRA. And this was from Sattar, Khurshid Sattar. Container scanner and goods examination division of the Guyana Revenue will be seconded to the Ministry of Legal Affairs with effect from March 16, 2015. Please be advised that the Standard policy regarding seconded will apply during the period of his secondment. However, Mr. Narayan's salary will be paid by the GRA for the month of March 2015 and all subsequent payment. Signed by Khurshid Sattar. Khurshid Sattar. You guys see where I'm heading with this. Now look, read this other letter here. 28th of December 2012. To whom it may concern. Recommendation, Rajput Narayan. And this is Leslie Ramsamy, then Minister of Agriculture, can refute this if he likes. But this is a document in our possession, in my possession. It says here, I have known Mr. Rajput Narayan of 378 Grove Housing Scheme, East Bank Demerara, for the past 10 years. Mr. Narayan possesses strong leadership qualities and uses his moral and spiritual upbringing to offer guidance and advice to others. He is of quiet disposition, very respectful to all, blah, blah, blah. I have found him to be honest, reliable, and helpful. His determination will certainly prove an asset in his future undertaking. Recommendation. Leslie Ramsamy, he may deny it. And let's get to this here now. To whom it may concern. This is to certify that Mr. Rajput Narayan, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Narayan is a decent individual. He is a good character, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Narayan is very ambitious and progressive, blah, blah, blah. He has always displayed a pleasant and courteous disposition. He is a dedicated person who is always serious of purpose. I therefore have no hesitation in recommending him for the field of endeavor he now seeks. Recommendation. This guy, Sherlock Isaacs, is the clerk of the National Assembly. He is the clerk of the National Assembly. And so these guys want to sit and pretend as though they're angels. Now let's get back to the Stabrook News article, or maybe the Kaiser News. More looks like the Stabrook News. Former bodyguard, the same guy that they're highly recommended, former bodyguard for Anil Nandlall, arrested for Courtney Crummy Wing's murder. You see where I'm heading with this? During that time that Courtney Crummy Wing was murdered, guess what Anil said? Anil said, Nandlall concerned about his safety, mulls change in political life. In other words, after the pressure bearing down on him, oh gosh, I may want to change my political life. I'm just getting tired of this thing here. And blah, 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 blah. He start bawl, he start crying. Then let's go on here again. This is news source, you know, Gordon Mosley. Here, Anil now. And after Courtney Crummy Wing murder, assassination, and his driver's name, allegations, and all manner of things connected with the murder. Anil says, I ain't got my luck. And he is reconsidering political life in Guyana. I ain't got my luck. Crummy Wing was shot dead on the night of March 10th. On the night of March 10th, 2015, as he walked through the Diamond community, encouraging persons to vote, Courtney Crummy Wing was murdered as a result of his political views and as a result of him protesting in front of Anil's office. Now, who are the murderers? We can just allow our imaginations to just flow like that. Just allow our imaginations. And let's move on to some other stuff now. Anil and the law books. And this is a guy who's painting himself. He's an angel. Here it is. Nandlall confirms government bought law books for his personal use. Now, if you confirm these things, any other part of the world, there's no government purchasing with taxpayers' money law books for personal use. No, it doesn't happen. And then after he was charged, and then October 19th, 2020, you see here, charges against Nandlall over law books dropped. Dropped by who? Dropped by this woman. Dropped. They no longer want to pursue it. Dropped it like hot cake, right? Good. So that's exactly what's going on. And so we must sit and listen to this guy and believe everything. He's an angel. Anil Nandlall has made criminal terrorist threat. That again, the Kaichor News reporter, criminal terrorist threat. Nandlall threats against Kaichor News file stuck in DPP chambers. It's stuck in DPP chambers. AG Nandlall threats against Kaichor News. DPP action demoralizes staff of Kaichor News. We're not making these things up. These things are not being made up. So when these guys sit and they talk and they want to paint an impression to politicians overseas that they're angels and they're this, no. And we are not going to sit down, whether we're in Brooklyn, wherever we are, we're not going to sit down and allow this to happen. It is not going to happen. We have a voice, we will speak out, and we will speak the truth. And wherever we go, we will tell people the truth. Let's move on. Deaths against Kaichor News by Minister Anil Nandlall. He was then Attorney General. Nandlall repeats threat. According to Kaichor News, Nandlall repeats threats to Kaichor News. But yet the very Nandlall sits there and talk as though he's an angel. I don't know about you guys. I don't believe a thing these guys say. Not a thing. Rajput, the case, nothing at all. It's basically, it's done. He's probably running around Guyana, enjoying himself. And the family members of Courtney Cromwell, like scores of other individuals, are awaiting justice. Justice for their loved ones. Justice. We'll have to continue to speak out against the many atrocities under the PPP regime, under the questionable PPP regime. We close off tonight's program by reminding you of what Jonathan Yearwood did to Carol Smith Joseph before we leave.
Sir, you shut up! You want to be
And then after that, he went and he took a little toast. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. My name is Mark Benjob. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. Always a pleasure to have you guys to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because that's what we say here. And sometimes these evidence and what's happening in Guyana, and not just mainly against African brothers and sisters, but we have a lot of our Indian brothers and sisters and other Guyanese who are being ill-treated and discriminated by the PPP regime. Lots and lots of them. And our operator just reminded me about Anil Nandlall, who encouraged squatters, encouraged people to break down fence of a property, a land that belongs to Lincoln Lewis and his family. All these sort of things. So when these chaps sit and they try to paint a picture as though they're angels, only God knows. Only God knows. You guys got to do more than just pray for Guyana. Thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. I love you guys. Pray for your country. Pray for that country, all the 83,000 square miles. Pray for everyone, including those who are silent, including those who are complacent, including those who are part and parcel, who sit on the fence, including those who take crumbs. There's a woman who was in a picture with Jack Dio. She messaged me the other day. And she says, no, she's not eating crumbs. But I'd like to talk to her, though. I've known her for quite some time as a vendor, hardworking vendor. And sometimes people are manipulated by these goons in the PPP who do not care about them. And so while you sit and eat crumbs today, understand that there may be no crumbs tomorrow by the PPP because they're using you guys. God bless you. So long.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.